Alright, so here's the second part of this whole right-hand drive Subaru rack swap. WRX, by the way, not STI. So this is out, and as I had shown you earlier, this and this perfectly aligned with the same exact positions on the Subaru rack. However, the newer Subaru racks, the 2004 in my case, they had these ears that just didn't work with, so I had to cut the ears off and just had basically like this. This is a round tube, there's a round tube, so there's no real difference. It's slightly different diameter. I took this rubber gasket right here, cut a little bit of more room and put it on the left side. I did not use this rubber gasket on the right side because I used the one off of that came with the steering rack. And so the steering rack itself is currently in position. There you go. So one way to do it is like that. That is not how I'm going to do it. I'm going to rotate it some more tomorrow once I notch the engine mounts. I've bottomed out the Volvo inner tie rods, and as you can see, they are placed in relation to the pivot on the suspension. They are placed outboard, right? What that means is with the Mustang spindles, let me show you. See how the outer tie rod end is placed outboard of the ball joint? So it corresponds with the actual placement of the rack. That outboard position wouldn't be ideal for factory struts, but for my Mustang spindle swap, it actually works out perfect. Over there, right here, I'm gonna have to, I don't know if you can see my finger. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to notch the subframe thing right here for that steering thing that's sitting right behind my fuel pump. I don't want to do it this way because then the U-joint angles are just going to be too extreme. This would be the easy way. So what I am going to do is I'm going to rotate it. Obviously, I'm going to have to bend these lines. So I put these in so A, dirt wouldn't go in, and B, I'm still going to have to do not CV boots, but the boots. I have them, but haven't put them back on yet. But I put this line back on, these two right here, just so I can get a feel for where it is. I had to do some slight bending, nothing crazy. Well, I'm gonna have to rotate it. I don't know how many degrees, but you rotate it to where the steering arm, steering shaft, winds up under the engine mount, and that's perfect placement. You can't quite do it without notching that mount, because then you still need to be able to put the U-joints on there and all that. So, but made some progress at least today. So you can see the rubber thing right here, it's holding it firmly. These are bottomed out. These are just lock nuts on top. So I just threw them on there just so I wouldn't lose them, but it is tight, doesn't move. This is the isolator, or the rubber bushing, whatever you want to call it, from the WRX rack. So that I retained. Just, it drops right in using the 240Z, I don't even know what you call them, the 2-bolt saddles or whatever it is. So other than having to cut the ears off of the mount right here, which you saw earlier where the ears were here, there was nothing else I had to do other than bend these power steering lines so that they would fit with this right here. So all in all, I'm pretty happy with the way it fit. I'm gonna do some work tomorrow and finish it all up to where the rack's done. I still haven't drilled this out to 5/8 yet, and once I do, throw the boots on, pivot the rack exactly where I want, then I'm gonna start figuring out the U-joint steering shaft configuration. It'll run the exact same way as it would stock on a right-hand drive car. I'm gonna have to take apart the whole dash and all that. So that's what's coming next.